Compass FM, Bruce Springsteen. Oh, those glory days.
Isn't he so good? I just love him. Best concert I went to was his with the E Street Band in Auckland, possibly 10 years ago now, but so good.
He is actually in the news a wee bit at the moment as well.
What's he been up to?
Oh, he's getting very political.
Oh, right.
He's getting very political and that sort of thing. Dan Gordon, Mayor of the Waimakariri.
Oh, good morning, Kerry. Sorry, I missed allowing you the intro there. I was just getting so enthused with the boss. Yeah.
Oh, as we all should, Dan. As we all should. Dan Gordon, Mayor of the Waimakariri, 8 Tuesday morning. Always have a chat with you. I've got a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
In the local news this morning, we heard that Mari Black and yourself have been having a wee bit of a chat with Associate Health Minister, which is Matt Ducey, a local MP, and Stuart Smith in regards to the, in particular, the Waikari and in our patch, in the Waimakariri patch, the Oxford Hospital. What's the progress on these?
Just to be clear, we were talking to our local MPs, not Matt in his capacity as Associate Health Minister. So we were having a conversation with both our local members of Parliament, just basically to update them on what we were hearing, but also to make sure that we were connected on the future of our local hospitals, which are both really important to us. During the COVID period, both hospitals were closed, and me and Mari and I joined forces to get those hospitals reopened. They're very valued facilities in our communities, which both have friends of hospitals, and look, it is just they're sitting there not being maintained. And their futures we're just not clear about. I'm not going to say worried, but I am concerned enough that it's on my radar, and it's on both our radars, that we want something and some answers there. Our community would like to know what their futures are. I'm not aware that there's any immediate issues by way of to the service that's there, but they're not being, well, and certainly in the case of Oxford Hospital, I know it's not being used as well as it can be. And the whole future of rural health is really important. So look, we're not scaremongering, we're not out there, we're just raising questions about those two amazing facilities that we want to see have futures. A lot of people that go to Oxford talk about and I have been out there a number of times, people are there at end of life or respite, and just what a lovely setting it is. And there's been a large community effort over a number of years, in particular for Oxford, where money's been raised by the Friends for the facilities and for the sort of things that our nursing staff require. So rural health is really important. That's why our council, and I'm due to have a meeting shortly on an update on the after hours facility. That's why we take such an interest, and I know in the Huranui they do as well, because health and delivery of health is important to our communities, and our councils are sitting there as partners, wanting to make sure the right thing's done by our community.
Worst case scenario, Oxford closes, what happens?
Well, that would be let's hope that isn't the case, and we're not at that point, Kerry. So I don't want to speculate on that today, but we will do the best that we can to make sure that we get those answers, and we're in a position that best advocates for the retention of those services. Look, I'm not wedded to an older building necessarily if a better facility comes about in the longer term that meets our community's needs. But at the moment, where we don't have a facility being maintained, you jump to people are jumping to conclusions, and so that's the sort of clarity we're seeking from Health New Zealand to make sure that those facilities are maintained and we know what the future looks like.
Just to be clear, these are funded by the New Zealand government, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Right, well
and we as a council, own a portion of the site, long-standing, where the Oxford Medical Trust is. And I know they're looking at their future and what they do, because they're seriously constrained by their buildings at the moment, and they've got a really good trust doing some really good work.
Okay, all right, we'll keep an eye on that story, Dan. Pay equity for Waimakariri Library staff. There has been a precedent set in Christchurch. Mayor Major in the city is saying that the city library staff are going to be getting a pay rise. Is there something similar happening in the Waimakariri libraries?
Oh, that's a question I'd need to ask the Chief Executive, to be honest. I'm not over that this morning, Kerry, but can I just say that we do make sure that our staff are remunerated at market levels, and it's something our team do work very hard on, making sure that we're meeting where the market's at. So I'm not clear on that matter, and something I will look into myself out of interest, but it hasn't been raised with me.
All right, that's fair enough. We'll move on to the Wood End bypass. I have promised that I was going to keep asking some questions about, the consents and how it is with this NZTA operation, working with the local government. How is that going along?
Seems to be going really well, and our staff have got are very comfortable with the process that's following. It's moving at pace, which is really good, and that's in for fast track as well, which I think it's a perfectly good use of what fast track's all about. It's to make sure that major regional or national infrastructure can be sped along, and in the case of the bypass, it can't come quick enough. If you only have to go there at peak times or at weekends, and you'll know how congested and how dangerous it can be at times, particularly on stretches of road along there. But no, we're pleased with the progress there.
Okay, just a bit of a heads up that I just keep reading. How are they going to do it? There's going to be a flyover at Pine Acres. There's going to be another flyover at Pegasus Boulevard, basically. That's how it is all going to work. And then about 9 k's of brand new highway. Are you going to pay a toll if they put that up?
That's yet to be resolved. We've put forward we've put our position forward around tolling, that we just don't believe it makes sense on that piece. Look, I hear both sides of the argument. Look, if the government's committed to that direction, they'll let us know in due course. But I think in this area we're not used to tolling, and the bit that worries me, and the only thing I can think of is the Littleton Harbour Bridge in the day. The thing that worries me and our council is the rat running that will occur where people are avoiding particular areas.
The Littleton tunnel, not the bridge.
Sorry,
but
Littleton
tunnel. It's not very often. It's not very often I get to correct the mayor. That's awesome.
Sorry, when you're talking about there's a lot of bridges in my mind at the moment.
Oh, all right, one in particular up in the Clarence River, but that's not in our patch, or the patch that we're talking about now. The district plan for Waimakariri, how's that going along?
It's going really well, and we're being briefed at the moment of where the hearings commissioners have got to, but we expect that to it will be coming back to council on the 24th of June for decision, and that's from the hearings panel and what they're recommending. Now it'll be up to the council to determine whether it agrees with that direction or not, and at the moment we're just waiting on all the final advice. Look, it's a very complex beast, the district plan. It's been years in development, cost millions of dollars, but we're at that point where we're really looking forward to it being out and done, and then people have relative certainty. Now there is just a couple of checks in that. One is that those that have been in and aren't happy have the ability to appeal that if they wish. I believe that's up to a month after that, and then that could take a life of its own on some instances. But there'll be some bits which will be operative straight away, and there may be some bits that still to be resolved through future processes. But it's been a thorough process, and I just hope that when it does come out that people are happy with the result.
I guess we'll find out in October.
Well, there is that, and look, there'll be decisions that people will be happy with. There'll be maybe some that they're not, but that's the thing about a thorough independent process. And we've had expert commissioners as well as 2 local councillors who've been part of that, and I know they've been working hard. The other thing that's happened in the midst of all that is that while we've been in district plan review, there's been the previous government put medium density residential zones in there, so that's 3 stories in some localities. So we had to pause, add that in, and then go back out on that particular matter. And then we've also then had a change of government, and they've had a change of direction. So it's never a set period, and there's never a perfect time to do your district plan review. So look at some of it. Some might say, well, it's out of date even before it gets here. Well, it is what it is. We're doing the best that we can with what we have. But the other thing we could have done is completely paused it and not done it at all.
Yeah.
But then we're 20 odd years out of date. So we made the decision to get on and get it done, because we're a growing district and people need certainty of where our growth patterns go. And that's what it's all about. It's about providing for the future of the growth, what the rules are for development, and also making sure some parts of our areas are protected, so that, development is good, Kerry, but
Yep.
not development at any cost. And that's the bits that we think we've got the balance right. We'll be hearing back from the from the hearings panel shortly about that, and we'll go forward from there. But happy to talk further about those. We'll provide drop-in sessions for people that would like to know more, and there will be, as they understand what the rules mean, and what that means for them on their particular properties, or broadly because of their general interest.
All right. Dan Gordon, Mayor of the Waimakariri, I appreciate you coming in every Tuesday morning into the
Good to
studio.
see you.
And we'll
Take
catch
care.
up with you again next week.
Take care.
Come to
Cheers now.
CFM.